Okay. Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. So I had previously done a surround sound upmixing version of MAME, and all the subsequent MAME builds that I've done have you know included that feature, but it had some limitations. So basically, I was it was an X Audio 2 specific implementation, and so it only worked for that one API, and all it could do was upmix things. So I've taken this to the next logical step, and so I dug into MAME's speaker and mixing code, and I've actually made a version of MAME that truly supports surround sound hardware. So, for example, if you play games like T-Mech that have four speakers, like it'll like, and if you have a four plus speaker setup, like the third and fourth speaker, those sounds will actually come out of it. Like it doesn't just stupidly upmix everything. Like it is actually the real audio mapping. And because it's actually done, as part of the MAME core and not just X Audio, it means that all the audio backends actually get the benefit from this. So it works with port audio and the low latency stuff. And so let me show you here. What's going on with this. So there are like actually a lot of changes. The sample rate setting has been removed because it's stupid and you don't need it anymore. It's all based on how you have Windows configured. So it just takes whatever your setting in there is. So for example, like if I go in here on my receiver and see how I have it set to 24-bit, when 192K hertz, it's just going to use that sample rate. It doesn't care anymore. It's just like whatever you got, that's what I'm going to do. And because it's all been unified, there's no more, specific. There's no more specific port audio setting for the device name. Now it's actually just sound device. And so now both X Audio 2 and port audio basically just use one setting, for choosing your audio device. So that's been, unified behind the scenes. So no more sample rate setting. That's in there. And the other interesting thing. Oh yeah. Also, I removed direct sound. Direct sounds is gone. It's fucking stupid. I mean, really, like direct sound. Seriously, it's like the equivalent of direct draw. It's so antiquated. It doesn't even support modern setups properly. It's just fucking stupid. I just deleted it. Um, yeah. So basically, like you can specify, like the name of your device if you have multiple audio devices and want to pick one. The other thing that's interesting is there's a setting now along with the volume and everything, which is sound upmix. So you can basically choose in the in I whether or not you want to upmix sound or not. If it's a game that like actually truly does support more than two speakers, you might not want to change this to one. You might just want to leave it at zero and just kind of let it do its thing. But wait a minute. Did I change my ROM path here? Yeah, okay, I did. I'm just looking for all the settings here because I created a clean config. And so if I do like, tmec and run it with verbose, I mean, not that you can even tell with shitty YouTube, of course, because, of course, YouTube doesn't even do surround sound support. But in any case, if you play tmec and stuff, you'll see it. And see, you'll notice, it just picked X Audio 2 by default because there is no more direct sound. And see how, without setting a sample rate, it just automatically picked the correct sample rate based on the Windows setting. So if I were to go in and change, in my Windows settings, my sample rate to, 48K, or something like that, it would just automatically be that. So this is how this is how it always should have been, but it just, yeah. And so yeah, so really, like, I mean, it's still experimental. I mean, of course, I've only tested it on my own machines, and so I am curious, to know if anybody, who has, other people who have surround sound setups, if they run into problems with it or anything. But of course, like, and like I said, you can do the port audio stuff. So if you change sound to port audio, and then you change the API to you know that Windows audio session, then you'll be using like the super low latency audio. So now you can actually have surround sound support, surround sound upmixing with super low latency audio. It's the best. It's the fucking best. There's basically absolutely, if you're, I mean, especially if you're on Windows, there is no reason to use the builds of MAME from MAME.net. They're inferior. I mean the thing too is, I mean, we really are at the point though now, like, we're like, this isn't just a bonus feature. I mean, if you think about it, this is an actual emulation improvement, because really, if you think about like accurate emulation, TMEC was wrong before. It was fucking wrong. Like, even if you had a 4+ speaker setup, the sounds weren't coming out of the 4 different speakers, so it was actually wrong. So this is actually, any way you cut it's actually an emulation improvement. Of course, because of the cocksuck, who's maintaining the thing, it'll never be added. The funny thing is, there was a failed pull request that Hayes did for surround sound support on this, and he doesn't really understand how direct sound works, and that's what he used to try to do it, and so he submitted something but said, yeah, it didn't work. If anybody else can do anything, there it is. The funny thing is, I reached out to him and told him that I would help him, and he stonewalled me, because they're fucking psychopaths. They don't care about games. They care about their little cult of personality. They really don't give a shit about games. It's not what it's about to them. It's really pathetic. But in any case, I mean, this is such like a massive improvement that I probably will keep this going. It's just, unfortunately, I guess for like the rest of my fucking life, I'm gonna have to waste time merging these changes into MAME, because the people who run it, are fucking psychotic. But yeah, it's pretty nice though, like, because really, I mean, at some point, I probably am going to update my engine, for like Final Fight and Samurai Shodown 2. I probably am going to either add port audio or just straight up just do Windows audio session, because I mean, it is a little better. The latency is a little lower than X Audio 2. And I've sifted around in it enough, where I have a pretty good handle on it, so it really wouldn't be that big of a deal. But in any case, so yeah, you can see the link in there. It's kind of unfortunate that I can't actually demonstrate it, because of shitty YouTube limitations and everything. But yeah, surround sound, like true surround sound, is in there. And the thing that's interesting is, like, it actually affects more games than you think. Like, for example, like Ninja Warriors, for example. Ninja Warriors hardware, and I mean, it has a subwoofer. It has a dedicated subwoofer. And so even if you don't use the upmixing, option with this, if you use this version of MAME with it, and you have a setup that has a subwoofer, you will actually get the dedicated, low frequency subwoofer channel, with this. Like I said, I mean, this is actually an emulation improvement. I mean, it really is. This is how it always should have been. So in any case, I realize that basically nobody on the planet gives two shits about audio, but I do. So there you go.